Long time lurker here. First time poster. Sorry this is gonna be so long, but I just need to get this out because I haven't told anyone yet. I guess some backstory here is necessary. I used to be a drug addict from age 18 to 21. I got sober 2 years ago and have kept it that way. Immediately after getting sober, I met my boyfriend, who had recently got sober himself, and we hit it off. We wanted to plan a new life together, but took things slow because we both wanted to build our lives as individuals before merging our lives together. Now, along with my addiction, I lost a lot of things in my life. My car, for one, was the biggest thing that I lost that I have been working on replacing. I work a minimum wage job because I have to walk everywhere I go, and it was the only business within walking distance of where I live, and have worked to save absolutely every penny I can so I can finally drive and apply somewhere that pays better. I should also mention I'm in college again, and so in this time period of me being clean, I had only saved and accumulated $3,500 into my bank account for a car fund that I was extremely proud of. I almost had saved enough to buy myself a decent used car. Then one day, I get a email from my bank telling me my bank balance was less than $500. I thought it was a mistake, so I called. There was one transaction a day totaling between $100 to $500 per day on my card for the past 2 weeks. $3,000 gone. And my debit card was missing. I instantly knew it could have only been him. I called my boyfriend, and he admitted it. I told him I'd call the police if he didn't return it immediately, so he went to the bank and took out a $3,000 loan. Only returned with $2,000 for me. You can go ahead and guess what the missing other $1,000 went to. That was 2 months ago. I have yet to see the other $1,000, which shouldn't have been hard for him to pay back, as he has no kids, lives with his parents, and makes 3x more than me a week. And even though I've told him we aren't together anymore, I have a hard time actually behaving like we aren't together. After 2 years in a relationship with him, I'm finding it hard to let go. We don't live together, and I won't let him at my house for fear he'll take something else or show up high and belligerent. We still talk, but we constantly fight because I can't stop bringing it up. He didn't just steal money from me, he stole the chance for me to better my life sooner. And I think he's sorry, but I don't think he totally gets how bad he's hurt me. He's acting like my love for him was fake or something if I'm willing to let him go over one little thing. But the thing is, I don't make a lot. Even $1,000 takes me months to save, and I'm no closer to my goal of getting a vehicle now, so I can finally do something better with my life. But still, I'm having a hard time letting him go. I do love him. He's a good person when he's sober, but when he's not, he's an entirely different man. And as an ex-addict myself, I don't know what the right thing to do here is. Do I help him through his addiction and stay with him because that's what I would have wanted someone to do for me, because that's what you do for someone you love? Or do I call the police and hold him accountable? I've lost a lot of people to this disease, and I don't want to add stress to his life that may prevent him from trying to get sober either. Even though he claims he's been sober since this incident 2 months ago. I just don't know. I want us to be good together. I want my life to be good for once. I want a partnership where we build each other up, and honestly, I want that with him. And I don't know that I'll ever get that from him. I just don't know what to do. Okay, time for the responses. Quote, I don't want to add stress to his life that may prevent him from trying to get sober either. Even though he claims he's been sober since this incident 2 months ago. This guy is a liar, a predator, a manipulator, a scammer, and a thief, and he doesn't even have the excuse of oh babe, but I used the missing $1,000 on drugs. Go nuclear on his ass, and then block him forever. What a piece of poop. Okay, he stole your hard-earned $, not all at once, but repeatedly over a few weeks, while looking you straight in the face, and now sober still won't sort his crap out. He's playing you, he's using you, he's predator and a scammer. He has no respect whatsoever, and manipulating you to just let him off $1,000 of your hard-earned cossies oppose. Sorry, cats and coffee. Honey, you need to wake up and smell the coffee. Quote, he's acting like my love for him was fake or something if I'm willing to let him go over one little thing. That is plain disgusting. He's a manipulating, gaslighting scammer preying on girls 10 years younger than him. Give him deadline by Friday. Tell his folks also, you need all 1,000 by Friday. If you don't get it, call the cops or lawyer. How can you even think of having anything else to do with this pose? I don't understand. You can't even now let him into your place. You never will be able to. He will steal your life off you. I've spent a few decades around all sorts of folk. This one, ditch him. Permanent. Don't waste your life caught up in shite lowdown antics like this. Get your cash, block, delete and go off. Have a happy life without this monster. He'll probably go target some other young girl to scam off anyway. So sorry, heartbreak. Get your car, do your studies, hang out with folk who don't have drug issues, and have a fantastic life. Best of luck. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep him warm. I'm a recovering addict as well, and have been through something extremely similar. Kick him to the curb. Do you really want a lifetime of dealing with that? Of putting someone else before you? Hes ducking with your recovery and your process, and hes too sick to care. If you've been with him the entire time you've been clean, maybe it's time to do some self-exploration. Find out who the new clean you is. I kicked mine to the curb, and he died like 8 months later. I put my own oxygen mask on first. You should to seize. He has already shown his true colors. He isn't a good person, sober or not. There's plenty of drug addicts out there who still manage not to steal from their loved ones. It's no excuse. He knows better, and he no longer cares who gets caught in the crossfire. His addiction is ruining your life too. If he had any ounce of respect for you, he would have paid you back in full by now. He hasn't, because he knows you still love him, and thinks you're going to be a pushover. You need to take him to court as soon as possible, because eventually you'll be out of the statute of limitations to pursue anything. The sooner you take care of this, the easier it's going to be on you. My sister is like this. She lost her kids, a fully paid off house, and blew through her entire inheritance within a few months due to her drug problem. She let our family dog die of starvation and dehydration, while my grandfather paid her to take care of him daily. She pawned our deceased grandmother's jewelry. She stole my aunt's credit card and took all of her money. She has absolutely no remorse for anything she's done. She'd still steal from us, or lie for more money, if we gave her any opportunity to. Your ex is the same way. This isn't one little thing. This is literally a felony he committed against you. The fact that he wants to dismiss it as such speaks volumes for his character, or rather the lack thereof. You should speak with a therapist about this, if you can. This is some heavy stuff to work through. They will be able to help you learn to cope with this. Okay, time for the next story. I am 32, no longer have to work, after having come into some money. Because of this, I have began dedicating my time to providing legal counsel for those who can't afford it. Despite doing this for only a short amount of time, I've gotten quite familiar with 2 clients. Both of their livelihoods are at stake for victimless crimes. These larger cases, as well as a few other less time-intensive cases, are taking up just shy of 60 hours of my week. Recently my wife's 30, brother, 22, is, again, facing charges for dealing opiates. In the past, I've successfully defended him for various non-violent crimes, but while I'm sympathetic to addicts, I can't defend an opiate dealer who has been given every opportunity imaginable. He's faced this charge before, and promised me he'd pursue a more constructive path. This obviously has not been the case, and I can't contribute to a potential overdose. After my wife's brother casually assumed I'd defend him during a dinner at my mother-in-law's house, I privately told him that my schedule is full at the moment. He left in a rage, and after leaving shortly after with my wife, she made it clear that she wasn't happy with me. My wife has been saying some ludicrous things such as how, since I no longer have to work, I should prioritize family. I'm happy to defend friends and family, at no charge of course given the circumstances, for matters that are a bit less severe, but quite frankly, I believe that my wife's brother is deserving of time. While I'm no fan of the prison system, he's proven that he can't be trusted in society at the moment. My wife's family, while not wealthy, is more than comfortable enough to pay for legal counsel. The cost would be significantly less than the value of the service I've offered them in the past. Any advice on how to approach the next conversation with my wife would be much appreciated, as she stopped cooking dinners and refuses to spend time with me. Okay, time for the responses. Your wife and her family are enablers. It's a toxic family structure and they are doing him long-term harm while they think they are helping him. Your Bill has spent his whole life being a petty criminal and now his crimes are intensifying from possession to dealing. He's also probably spent his whole life learning he can do no wrong due to his mother who raised him to be accountable for nothing, including his own actions, and his sister who just goes along with this for some reason, while manipulating her husband into acting as a free legal shield, so her brother can keep committing crimes. Do you really want your professional reputation as a lawyer to be tied to this weird family drama? He will only get worse and worse and worse, and his crimes will become more and more severe as he has learned there are zero consequences for his behavior because his family keeps bailing him out. As long as mommy and Big C's keep protecting him from his own actions, he will continue living in delusion land where he can do whatever he wants and suffer no consequences. That's not the real world, and eventually that type or lifestyle will lead to something mommy can't protect him from. I don't blame you for not wanting to do it. It sounds like a shit show. Good luck. If I were in your position, I'd rethink a lot of things. How is she and her family comfortable being around an individual who's dealing drugs? Opioids to be exact, an utterly addictive and destructive drug. He's repeatedly broken the law, fucked up who knows how many people/families, said he'd change, didn't change, and his family is still cool with him and have the nerve to get upset at you for not wanting to defend him. IDK mate, stand your ground emo, and don't let them guilt trip you into defending a criminal who's not willing to change for the better. He'll get someone to defend him soon enough. Your wife will get over it eventually, and you're likely to never have this kind of BS happen again, since they won't come looking for your help. Okay, time for the next story. I'm so emotional and in tears, and I'm so at a loss for words. My husband refused a drug test after getting in an accident at work. He refused for THC, but I had no idea this was something he was even doing. We have 4 young children we are support, and I'm so upset he has ruined our means to support ourselves while I'm in college and about to finish my final year. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against weed and wouldn't even care he smoked if it wasn't for the fact as a CDL driver he cannot obviously do this. From what I'm reading, he will not be allowed to operate a truck until he completes the minimum 6-month program with a SAP. His job hasn't told him how his employment is gonna go now. If they fire him, he is screwed to find another CDL driving job, and he has no other trades to make even half the money he makes now. I'm so stressed, I've been crying all day. I just can't believe he would put our kids and family in jeopardy. We lost our house and everything years ago after he lost his job and finally got to where we were no longer paycheck to paycheck and was really making strides to buying a house. I want to leave him. I'm so devastated he has done this to our family again, but I feel so guilty for my children because I know this will affect them so much, and I feel bad if I decide to go and leave him when he is down. My sister has offered me a place to stay in her downstairs apartment of her house so she can help me get through my last year of college and to give the kids some time to adjust in a place they are familiar at. I've already put in job applications for 2 days and have 3 interviews lined up next week. I'm so scared for the months to come. I've just worked way too hard in school to give me and the kids a better future, and he just seems to continually make messes I clean up, and I can't do it this time. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know what I'm needing. Words of encouragement, to vent, to find some hope in a hopeless situation. Maybe I'm being the bitch in the situation. IDK. More info. I keep getting asked why we had another child. At the time my last son was born, we were settled in our current home 2.5 years. He had held the same job that whole time and was making a very comfortable wage. We did discuss terminating with me being in college and not wanting another baby, but because financially at the time we could afford it, it seemed we had really settled into things and was working towards buying our house. It just didn't feel right to us. I never thought this would have ever happened again because we both worked so hard to start over. More info. After he lost his job and we lost our house, we both went to work full time for 2 years while I also went to school, and we got a home and everything back up. I didn't leave work until our son was born, and we decided for me to stay home due to the work income vs. daycare cost was not enough to make sense. Okay, time for the responses. Go to your sisters, get a trial separation, and go to counseling. I'm not saying this needs to end in divorce, but obviously you don't trust him anymore, and that needs to be addressed in counseling. Focus on school and getting yourself to a good place where you can support yourself and your kids. I believe that you are tough and resourceful. This is terrible, but you can find a way to pull through for you and your kids. This too shall pass. But look at the bigger picture here. Is he or has he ever been a partner to you? Doesn't sound like it. Will he change? Very highly unlikely. Then what's the benefit of staying? If the benefit is the kids, then I hate to break it to you, but this is a terrible example to the kids. I think at the very least he needs to earn you all back. He needs to figure this out and work to prove himself as trustworthy again. But don't hold your breath. You go stay with your sister and he can fend for himself like he made you fend for yourself and his own children. You are absolutely not being a witch. He knew he wasn't allowed to use Derugas and that testing was highly likely. This was completely avoidable, and you have every right to feel let down and devastated. But you are going to get through this. Once the shock has worn off, you're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you're going to be in a better place soon. But it's totally understandable that you're stressed. It's an awful situation. I'm so sorry. Thank you for watching to the end. If you enjoy relationship stories, please hit the like button. And before you go, I would love for you to subscribe. Thank you and see you in the next one.